Hi Legion, John Hitler, co-founder of Evoking Genius and co-creator of the Genius Discovery Process, with another edition of Pure Genius. What's the most insidious tax you pay? I mean, like, you hate paying it. Income taxes? Sales taxes, depending on where you live? How about payroll taxes? You have to match them for your employees. What about you? You know what the one I hate? I hate that one from the county and the city that I live in that makes me get a business tax as if I've got a brick and mortar company when I've got a virtual company. That one's crazy. But I have to pay it every year. Twice! What's your worst one? What's the most insidious? Well, there's one you're probably forgetting, and we're going to outline it today. It's the biggest hidden tax you pay, and you pay it every day in your business. It comes in 4 forms. We're going to outline it, break it down, and show you how to avoid it like the plague. Want to play? It's called aggravation. That's the biggest, insidious, hidden tax you pay every day in your business. And we're going to show you the 4 ways you pay it, and then the simple way to avoid each of the 4 ways you're paying it. All right, let's spin the big wheel. Hey, I coach entrepreneurs, CEOs, team leaders, and individuals to create lasting behavior change by making transformation safer and more attractive than standing still. Well, if you're standing still, chances are you're going to continue to pay this hidden tax. Let's transform that whole situation and have your organization run much better. So, first way that you pay the tax, horrible. I'll call it, it's 2 kinds of people in your organization. Either the poor performer or the piss poor attitude. They're 2 different people, but they both are a form of aggravation tax you are paying every single day. Let's take first the poor performer. They're just somebody that they may mean well, they may have a good attitude, they may try really hard, but they're just not cutting it. And here's how you pay the tax. You pay for it in morale, you pay for it in mood, you pay for it in lost productivity, you pay for it in the touch they have with your customers. All 4 ways you're going to pay that, because the poor performer just can't keep up. And what happens is the rest of the team knows it, and they have to compensate for the poor performer. Let me ask you this. How much of a tax do you think that poor performer pays every day in the form of stress? They know, it's no secret to them, that they're the weak link or the poor performer on the team. Is there a better role in your organization, like a better fit for them someplace else? Or do you need to clear them out? Well, that's the first type of performer or tax that you pay. The same people issue exists even worse in what I'll call the piss poor attitude. Now, the only reason you put up with a piss poor attitude is because someone's a superstar performer. So I'll take the case where the performer is, let's say you're a big revenue producer, you're a superstar salesperson, and they've got a bad attitude and they're like a cancer in your organization. They're a prima donna, they talk down to people, they don't fit in very well, and maybe because they're in the field a lot, you don't have to put up with them that much, but when they're in their office, they are disruptive. And what do they tend to do? They tend to recruit. They want people on their side. Ugh! Worst possible scenario. You pay the same tax for them that you do with the poor performer in terms of mood, morale, productivity, and how they touch your customers. And you're the one allowing it. Well, here's the real question. What would the investment look like to upgrade the poor performer and or replace the piss poor attitude in your organization? What would it cost? Probably not much, because you got to pay the replacements. Now, what's the return on investment when you do that? Your team will cheer you. When you upgrade the poor performer to somebody that's doing good work, and when you get rid of the bad attitude with somebody who's a pleasure to work with, your team will cheer you on and you will go leaps and bounds. The ROI on that is astronomical. The choice, though, is yours, especially with the piss poor performer. If they're a good piss poor attitude, if they're producing good results and they've just got a bad attitude, you got to have the guts to get rid of them and replace them with somebody who perhaps isn't as good of a performer but has a much better attitude. Choice is yours. Go make it. So that's the first way, is in people. How about the second? The second way, let me ask you this. What systems or processes do you have that are outdated, obsolete, clunky, or just your team is frustrated with them? Well, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine is married to a fighter pilot. They have little kids, and people kind of go, "Whoa, girl, good for you. You scored a fighter pilot?" She said, "Look, don't get too impressed. Here's the way things work around our house. He snores me to sleep at night and farts me awake in the morning." Excuse me? That's your system for bedtime routine in your house? With a fighter pilot? Wow, not what we expected. But my guess is, in your organization, you have the equivalent version of snoring you to sleep and farting you awake in the morning. Guess what? That system works. It works reasonably well. It's just obsolete or offensive or inappropriate. You have those systems in your organization, and I guess your team knows it. Now here's the way that you pay the tax. They're doing less than stellar work, or slower work than they should, or lackadaisical work, perhaps due in part to the systems or processes present. Well, the problem is, as human beings, we normalize things. So when a process isn't very good, let's say it's just slow, we kind of normalize it and say, that's just how the system works. We just put up with it. And that becomes normal, and nobody starts looking at it. You as the team leader, or you as the CEO, or you as the entrepreneur are going to be the one that says, "Hey guys, I'd like to upgrade each of our processes. How could we improve, redesign, or shift each one of our processes and make them better?" And guess what? Your team will know how to do that. They have to work with the systems and processes every day. And I guarantee you, they will take the ones that are the equivalent of snoring me to sleep and farting me awake in the morning, and they'll redesign them in a way that really boosts morale in your organization. They'll be thrilled that you asked them, and they know how to fix them. It's a whiteboard session with you and your team. Probably won't cost you much money, a little bit of time, and what'll happen is you'll release a lot of pent-up energy and frustration in your organization. So that's the second way that you're paying the tax, in systems. Third, how about this one? We had a client last week call us and say, I was so furious. We had a vendor in our break room telling dirty jokes. Excuse me? A vendor? Somebody that doesn't even work for you? They were servicing, I guess, the water filtration system. They pay this company, they're on contract, to come in and service their filtered water, so their drinking water for the employees. And the service person was in telling dirty jokes. Unbelievable. Well, my guess is you probably have one vendor. Most organizations have one. Most of them are good. You probably have one vendor that doesn't cut it. And here's the question. Are each one of my vendors improving my return on investment for the service that they provide? Simple enough question. Their service for which you pay them should actually come with a positive ROI. They should not cost you time, money, productivity, distraction, or morale in the case of dirty jokes. They should be helping your organization make more money, bring more customers, do a better job, increase productivity, unite the team. Every vendor should adhere to your standards, and if they don't, it's easy, it's simple, and it's your choice to replace them. So ask yourself that question. What's the ROI I'm getting for my organization by employing this vendor? And if it's not a positive ROI, replace them, upgrade them, and you'll be saving the third kind of tax. So the fourth is the most insidious of all, and it's hidden probably the best. Here's why. You get revenue from it. So the fourth and most insidious hidden business tax that you pay every day in the form of aggravation are what I'll call the 5 worst customers you keep on your books. They're horrendously bad for your organization, and here's why. They return items, they complain, they give you bad reviews online, they threaten, they throw hissy fits in your office. They're high maintenance and low profitability. That's not a good solution for an organization. And what we do is we forget that because they're paying us, and sometimes they might even be paying us a lot of money, we don't have to keep them as clients. So consider this proposition. Have your team, and not you, have your team identify the 5 clients that they would like to outsource, and consider referring those 5 clients to your closest competitor. Those 5 clients will wreck your closest competitor, and in the meantime, what you're doing is you're saving your competitor from having to deal with them. Get rid of those 5, give them to your competitor, and here's the message you'll be telling your team. It's a huge message. You, my team, are more important than any of these 5 customers who I've been asking you to put up with. I value you much more than I value the money they bring into this organization. Unbelievable amounts of energy will be released, and frustration and aggravation, all that goes away, and then the pent-up energy that's been wasted on these 5 clients gets freed up to bring in better, high-performing, high-profitability clients who actually appreciate what you do. Ask your team and don't fight them. They know who the 5 clients are that needed to go a long time ago, and you continue to pay the aggravation tax with them by keeping them on your rolls. You got it? Simple investment. You're investing in your team over any given client. Wow. 4 ways you're paying a hidden aggravation tax. In your poor performer or your piss poor attitude, in your systems and processes, in your vendor relationships, and in your worst clients, like your bad clients that give you grief. All are a choice for you to avoid. You can avoid paying this hidden tax, or you can keep paying it and make it easier for your competitors to cream you. Aggravation is completely avoidable. You can design your way around it. I invite you to do so. Invest, transform. If you need help, leave me a message and I'll help you do this whole thing. It's a simple process and you can do it. Now, I know the reason you're doing this is to build a great organization. Chances are you have colleagues that want to do the same thing. If this is helpful, like and share this with your audience. They'll be really glad you did. And until we meet again on Pure Genius, all the best.